G'day, Dan here, with a look at the latest DC animated film, Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Now this film is written by Tim Sheridan, directed by Chris Palmer, and features the voice talents of Darren Criss as Clark, Alexandra Daddario as Lois, Zachary Quinto as Lex, Ryan Hurst as Lobo, Ike Amadi as John Jones, and Brett Dalton as Parasite. Now, as we saw in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, the DC Animated Universe was getting a reboot, and we were going to get a new launch with a fresh take on the characters, a brighter color palette, and an art style that utilizes varying line weights to create depth. Well, it took me a little bit to get comfortable with this somewhat manga-influenced style. By the end of the film, I'd really come to like it, and now I wonder why more animation styles don't vary their line weights. It gives great depth. Now, the story skips the standard origin, giving us a brief childhood scene to set up the alien among us premise, then takes us to the point where Clark has been doing some activities as the Flying Man, and is working as an intern at the Daily Planet. Now, I liked this change, as him just getting a job as a reporter never made sense to me. How do you just go from Kansas to a major metropolitan newspaper like that? We also get to meet Lex, so he's not a major character here, but we see him in the beginning and he comes back at the end. But they leave the focus on Clark and his fears and apprehensions about letting the world know the truth about him. Now, they let the story play out through confrontations with Lobo, who ends up telling him some about Krypton while fighting, and then meeting another lost son in John. We also get the pretty straightforward story of Rudy Jones, aka Parasite. Using one of the less complicated villains allows the film to spend extra time on Clark and his relationships rather than the screen time that would be needed for bigger baddies like General Zod or Brainiac. It was a clever plot choice and allows the film to really establish Clark's world. The design work here stands out for me, as Superman gets his classic costume with some modernizations to the belt and sleeves, but I think people are really going to like it. Lobo is like straight off the comic page, while John and Parasite, they get a minor upgrade, which really works. I think Parasite really stands out because he's constantly changing through the film, but it's a really nice design. The color palette itself reminds me of Superman the Animated Series, as does the futuristic architecture of Metropolis. The whole thing feels modern, yet kind of timeless. Like, I don't think 10 years from now we're going to look back at it thinking it was kind of quaint. It's going to still look good. The casting choices were really well done. Solid performances all around, with Hurst standing out as Lobo. He's playing the character as over the top without seeming disconnected from the rest of the cast, which is not an easy thing to do with such a rambunctious character. Now, Chris plays Clark with an earnestness that is essential for the character to work. And he brings across the humanity that we really need. Now, we don't get a lot of Quinto as Lex, as I said earlier, but he definitely feels like he's the smartest man in the room, and that really works for me. The film isn't perfect. There are some plot jumps that animated stories make and get away with that live action wouldn't, and they happen here as well. But the characterizations are really strong and well worth watching the film for. There's also some great moments with the Kents. There are enough plot threads and Easter eggs to start a new series of films and a cohesive universe, including multiple references to Batman and a few little things left over from Lobo. So, overall, this is an entertaining film that tries to give us a different take on some well-traveled roads, while still giving us the hero we'd expect. It's a refreshing change after the high stakes and dark takes of the previous series of movies, and I look forward to seeing what they're going to do next. Now, there is a teaser for the next Batman movie, but I have a feeling that's going to be outside of this new continuity, because it takes place in like the 70s, Batman Soul of the Dragon, so I think what we're going to do is that'll be out, and then what comes after that, which is a rumored take on Batman the Long Halloween. So I think that's more likely to be what the next film in this universe is going to be. So that's my guess, but we'll have to see how it turns out. Thank you all for listening. I appreciate you taking the time. And if you could hit the subscribe button, the like button, and those things, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much, and everyone have a great weekend.